Hello again there folks, Lone Adventurer here. Thank you very much for stumbling your way upon my channel and joining me for this adventure. This is part 2 of my playthrough of What Lies Beneath, which is a choose your own adventure book of sorts from author-designer Chris Scaffidi and with illustrations by the fantastic Jason Glover. If you haven't seen part 1 of this video, I'll pop a link up in the corner of the screen right about now. Otherwise, we're just going to get straight to it. Now, so far, for our warrior character, it hasn't been going too well. I think I've lost pretty much every challenge we have faced, apart from the super easy first combat one. We discovered that I'm not particularly good with the dexterity challenge, which involves flicking a dice and hitting 2 dice stacked on top of each other, but not knocking the top dice off. Essentially, I don't do very well in situations where I feel under pressure, and insane as this might sound, this feels a little bit under pressure. Now, I did have a little go in between videos just to see if I could improve my ability to do this slightly. I think I discovered that it's a little bit easier on paper than it is on the surface of my table here. I think I got a little bit better at it. Let's have a one go try. There you go. I mean, that was quite a low level challenge there because I think I was about 3 inches away. So it's obviously going to be a lot harder when we do like a 4 or a 5 inch challenge. There. It is tricky. And I think the reason why I'm kind of a little bit uncomfortable with dexterity challenges like that is all of a sudden we're not testing my character's ability, we're testing my ability. And I'm not a particularly dexterous person, it turns out. Certainly not particularly capable of doing those challenges. But hey-ho, we've lost half our health. It might be that this playthrough is not going to work out for us. If the character dies quite quickly, I'm going to barrel straight into another playthrough and we'll see how we do a second time. But we're going to turn to entry 35 because that's where we left off. Nice little bit of Jason Glover spot art there. Let's have a look. There's some kind of dragon. Lovely little pieces of black and white art scattered throughout this book. As you leave the chamber, you slip in a gooey patch of the tunnel, staggering against the wall and stumble right through, as if through a mirage. You find yourself in a chamber adorned with splendid objects. At the centre of the room lays the skeleton of an alligator, not a dragon, an alligator, sparkling slightly. Gems, swords and gold coins shimmer in an enormous heap. As you approach the pile, the alligator skeleton suddenly begins to rise. It rasps and rattles. Sharp teeth and claws glisten with a yellow hue in the light reflected by the gold. You look back and find that the wall is thickly covered with goo. The only obvious exits are window-like openings beyond the skeleton. So we can attempt to fight the skeleton. We can try and dash past the skeleton, which is a low-level dex challenge, trickier to fight. Or we can just continue, search the gooey wall behind you for an opening so you can reverse course. I think we're going to try and fight the skeleton. So we're going to roll 2d6 on account of the fact that our hit is 2. And if we roll a 5 or more on either, then we are successful. There we go. So we've got a 6 there. Fantastic. We're going to turn to E13. You strike the alligator skeleton repeatedly. Bones fly from its torso and skull. It swings its tail toward you, which you leap over to avoid. You land, planting your feet in position to kick its groin. Nice. The pelvis shatters as your kick connects, and the brittle cracking echoes throughout the room. When silence finally returns to the room, you pick through the treasures. You find a great deal of gold coins, which you're unlikely to spend in a crypt. In addition to a sword, you will find a resplendent crown. Burnished metallic ornaments adorn the sides of the crown, each glowing with a blue light. When you touch it, your mind comes alive with imagination. Gain items B, H, G, W, P, N and C, J, I. And I guess we can have a quick look in the section at the back to see what those are. I guess one must be the sword, one must be the crown, and something else? I'm not really sure. Alright, we haven't actually picked anything up yet. So we'll add an items section. Let's have a quick look at what they are. So BHG is big handful of gold. CJI is crown of judiciousness and intellect. During a wit test, you may set a die equal to your current wit or less. This costs 1 action. I need to remember that then. Oh, my wit is 1. So we can set a dice to 1 if we want. And then WPN is weapon. During a hit test, this item allows you to raise 1 die by 1. Remember, unless otherwise indicated, you only may have 1 of each tag or item. In particular, you can only have 1 weapon. Okay, I'm just going to make some quick notes for that one. Okay, those are pretty handy items. I have forgotten what entry I was at. So 13. Shame I didn't get something that would help me in dexterity tests, but you can't have everything. So what can we do now? We haven't got item SJA. We could do a wit at 5. Search the treasure using your wits. Success, go to E67. And we can attempt that with no risk of failure. There's no negative consequence for failure, so I think we should probably do that. So the wit test, if you remember, is the one where you roll 4 dice and we have to have a consecutive sequence of 4 numbers in order to succeed. My wit is 1, so I can change one of those dice in the ways listed here. So here we go. Ooh, not bad. 1, 2, 3. So we can either re-roll this dice, we can flip it, which would take it to a 6, which isn't going to help. We could increase it by 1. Is there anything cunning I can do here? I don't think there is. I think I'm going to have to re-roll this, or we can use our item to set one of these dice to 1, but that's not going to help. So really I'm just going to have to roll this and hope that I get a 4. No. Alright, so we failed the wit test there, so we can continue and exit the chamber. Turn to E16. You exit into a corridor lined with chests. Their locks look small and easily smashed, although some chests have runes in the shape of flasks or other items. Many also have runes of warning. So we don't have item SJA. That feels like it would have been handy, but we don't have it, which kind of sucks. Continue, open some chests that look promising, or ignore the chests, follow the corridor. Once again, I'm going to have to open the chests, even though I know it's probably going to bite me in the ass and it's going to be something bad, because that's just the way I roll. E28, let's see what happens when we just blindly open some chests. The chest's symbols only very roughly indicate the possible contents, such as indicating the presence of an item. Each chest may be booby-trapped. You may open chests in the order below. You may skip any chests. For each chest that you choose to open, roll 1 die. Add your number of karma tags, if any. Subtract your number of ward tags, if any. Don't think I have either of those. The result is called your fate. If your fate is 3 or less, you get the indicated benefit from the chest. If your fate is 4 or more, a trap reduces your vigour by 1 and you do not gain the benefit. Alright, so chest number 1, we could skip it. The benefit is just gaining 1 vigour. I'm pretty unlucky, so I think I'm not even going to succeed. I think the chances of me succeeding are low enough. So chest number 1, I'm not going to do. Chest number 2, I don't have any karma tags, so there's no point in trying to lose karma tags. 3, gain 1 ward tag. I guess ward tags are a good thing. So we'll have a go at this one. We're going to roll a die. 4. Oh, that's a loss, isn't it? Because 4, I don't have any karma or any wards, so it's 4 plus 0 minus 0, which equals 4. Oh man, which means we lose vigour. I still want to try one more. We're just going to try chest number 4. This is going to be my final attempt. Okay, 3. So that is 3 or less, which means we gain the indicated benefit. And then I'm going to leave the other chests. Right, so we just gained item BAM. Let's see what BAM is. Boots of accuracy and mobility. Hey, they help us during dexterity tests. These enhanced boots improve your ability to succeed at dexterity tests. When setting up the test, reduce the distance to the target by 1 inch, but to a minimum of 1 inch. Brilliant. That's what we need. We're going to continue on to E44. The corridor continues to a massive door with a spring. A spring? As you push against it, you find that your arm with the tumour has grown weaker. The door opens to an enormous torch-lit room, then closes and latches after you pass through. I guess it springs closed. You see no obvious handle on this side. A glowing purple symbol in the shape of a jewel surrounded by a hand indicates where to press upon it for re-entry. You see a few similar doors lining the massive room. Lacking a jewel hand key thing, you have no immediate means of opening any of these doors. The room has many tables and benches, perhaps used for eating or to seat audiences for speeches. A single broad corridor leads out of the room, and you hear sounds and the smell of food in the distance. Laughter echoes into the enormous space, along with gobblish voices. A group is approaching. Do I have item MDI? No, I don't. Do I have item PFA1? No, I don't. Dexterity 2 to hide under a table, or continue to fight whoever appears. Well, we could try and hide under the table. Going to E58. Might as well. That shouldn't be too hard, he says, because it's a challenge at 2 inches, dexterity 2, and because of my fancy boots, it means I can reduce that to just 1 inch. So we're only going to be an inch away for this challenge. Here we go. Success. Alright, that feels good. Even though that was a super easy dexterity challenge, it feels good to succeed at it. E58. You snuff your torch and tuck yourself under a table, then watch as the room steadily fills with dozens of red-capped wee folk, resembling goblins. They sit and begin eating loudly, tossing bones on the floor and chortling as they grow steadily more drunk. However, the room is so massive that none of them are near to you, and you very easily remain hidden. Eventually they start to filter out of the room. Shall I leap from cover and slay those remaining? Go to E88. Wait for everyone to leave, or attempt to follow a red cap who leaves via a door using a jewel embedded in one of his palms. Ooh. So that's a Dex 5 challenge, but we would be doing it 4 inches. Now what I didn't realise during the last video, but I did put a little comment at the bottom of the screen, was that because we have a Dex of 2, that means we get 2 attempts. So that would be at 4 inches, and we would get 2 attempts to succeed. Or we could leap up and just slay them all. I'm going to have a go at doing that. We're going to leap up and just do some murdering. So that's E88. You beat aside the first foes that reach you, but their cries attract dozens more. Uh-oh. Oh, I think I'm about to die. But their cries attract dozens more who stream toward you. Some punch, others kick, and a few throw things at you. Within minutes you are bloodied and beaten down, yet the blows continue. At last you sink into sweet oblivion as 2 heavy-set redcaps grab you by the shoulders. Lose 5 vigour. Game over. Oh well. And I only gained one... Hang on, wait a minute. When did you gain XP? Did I gain XP at other points as well? Do you gain XP when you defeat enemies? It's only if it says. I don't think... Oh man, so we only gained 1 XP. How unfortunate. Alright. Well, I guess we will keep going, because it's quite a short video, isn't it, at this point? We will keep going. We might as well find out what the rules are for improving your subsequent character with XP. Probably I can't improve my character that much, because I've only got 1 XP and probably they won't do anything. Oh look, so you can... 1 XP does get you some stuff. +1 ward tag, or +2 vigour. Item PFS lets you spend ward to aid a hit dex wit test. Tricky. I think I'm just going to go for vigour. So I'm going to reset the character. We will stick with the warrior class. We'll go down to 0 XP because we'll spend our soul XP on increasing by 2 vigour, and then we'll start again and we'll go through a little bit more quickly if we get to any locations we've already encountered. Alright, here we go. So, round 2. We're stumbling out of the crypt, immediately tripping on our weak legs, and a rat hisses in our face. We are going to attempt to hit the rat. This is a hit challenge at 2. So there we go, that 6 means we are successful, and we're gaining 1 XP. The only XP we gained, I think, in the last playthrough. Then we're going to continue onto E3. We're entering a tunnel of rough-hewn rocks, slippery goo drips down the walls, and we notice a bit of metal. So this is the key, and this is a dexterity challenge at 4, which is tough for our first dexterity challenge. So it almost feels like, because the first hit challenge was rolling 2 or more, but the first dexterity challenge is asking you to hit at 4 inches rather than 3 or 2. So it almost feels like the game wants this to be quite difficult, wants you to not get this key on your first few playthroughs unless you're particularly naturally dexterous. So I get to have 2 attempts at this. Here we go. Oh, that's rubbish. Oh, no key. No key. Super, super frustrating. Okay, we didn't get the key. We didn't get the key. Let's move on. Then we creep through the tunnel. We observe a metal door built into the wall beside us. It's half our height, so the height of some wee folk. We can't unlock the door because we haven't got the key. Going on to E5. Cavern divides in 2. 2 arches extend over the openings, each etched with barely visible runes, not written in the common tongue. The darkness beyond one or both openings echoes with the sound of rushing water unless your imagination lies to you, a soft buzz. Okay, so we can attempt to decipher the runes. This is a wit at 4 challenge. That is unfortunately going to be a fail, isn't it? Because that is no way we can change that into a consecutive sequence of numbers by only changing one number, so that's a fail. I think last time we went down the left tunnel, so this time we're going to go down the right to E22. You step into the right tunnel. Arching, it becomes a spiralling ramp down with a space to your right. As you proceed, the chamber widens into a vast gulf, revealing a massive chamber. The spiralling ramp hugs the wall of this chamber. You creep downward. The buzzing pauses. Torchlight moves along the floor of the chamber, astonishingly far beneath you. You hear voices echoing below. So we can do a wit at 3, search for a dark area of the ramp and hide for a while, or we could do a dex at 2, quietly continue down the ramp. Dex at 2, that doesn't sound too hard, does it? So I have 2 attempts. Oh, need to remember what entry that was. Yeah, E22. So 2 inches. Right, so that is 1 failure. We're going to have 1 more attempt. Hey, okay. Right, really do find those quite stressful. So we are continuing to creep down the ramp, turning to E50. You sneak along the ramp, watching your step to avoid tripping or accidentally making noise. You reach a flat area at the bottom of the ramp, where you conceal yourself behind a pile of boxes. Wee folk hold the torches. Each wears a red cap. One, with a long beard, is lecturing the others. The speaker opens a small satchel, withdraws a handful from within, and throws sparkling dust at the other. Is there only one other? Who suddenly transforms into a naked, buzzing beast that flies upwards. Oh, gain XP. So we've got 2 XP now. That's good. Item MDI. I do not have item MDI. Dex 3 or hit 4. I think it's going to have to be hit 4 because I've got a pretty decent chance of rolling 4 on 2 dice. He says. Okay, I don't think I get to re-roll anything. I think that's it. It is it, isn't it? I'm desperately looking back at the rules. Yep, okay, so that's a fail. Failure, turn to E23. Ooh, bloodied and swollen, you sink to the ground. The beast transforms to a wee folk. The 2 of them drag you away as you lose consciousness. Lose 2 vigour. Down to 8. If you're still alive, turn to E6. You awake in a small cell behind a padlocked portcullis. Bones litter the ground. Moonlight streams between 2 bars in the ceiling. Every part of your body aches. You find that your foes have searched you. Lose all items except for any that have the numeral 1 in their name. Don't have any items. Gain the tag Hunt. That's got to be bad, right? So I haven't got item CP1. I haven't got item PFA1. Absent any form of aid, your only option is to wait until those who have captured you come to retrieve you. And then I guess I have to attempt to attack them, hit at 6. Because the last option you have to do. So it has a question mark at the end, as if you have a choice, but I really don't have a choice. We have to attempt to attack them. So we're going to be rolling 2 dice, and hopefully rolling a 6. And we didn't. So we failed. We're turning to E7 right here. As you awake sometime later, a shadowy figure slices into your bound arm, then rubs black goo deeply into your skin. Lovely. A powerful ache surges throughout your body. No escaping this time, a voice rasps. The figure sets an hourglass within your sight. The ache spreads into your body, a deep, unremitting pain. It brings a wooden feeling. Immobilized, you can only watch as the sands inexorably trickle. Lose 1 vigour. Lose 1 vigour. Set a timer for 1 minute. At the end of the minute, lose 1 vigour. Repeat at 1 minute intervals until you are dead. So the game wants me to sit here for 8 minutes, slowly reducing my vigour. A little bit sadistic there. I'm not going to do that on camera, or indeed at all. But there you go. Dead. Unfortunately. Dead again. But this time with 2 HP. So when I restart again, I can be a little bit stronger, or a little bit better than the previous run. So it feels a little bit like a Souls-like game in that way, because you have to keep at it and gradually improve in order to get through. Probably you're not going to do it on your first, second, or maybe even your 5th attempt. But there you have it. That is what lies beneath a solo dungeon crawler of dice, decisions and death. There'll be links down in the description if you are interested in getting your hands on a copy of this. I think we've really only scratched the surface of what this game has to offer. I think it's a good one. Thank you very much to the designer Chris for sending a copy of this over to me, very much appreciated, and I shall be playing it again. But for the time being, we will leave this playthrough here. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.